The problem with men today is that they treat approaching a girl the same way an alien would treat eating human food. Just imagine it. An alien, he comes down in his human disguise. Nobody knows he's an alien. He's trying to play the part. And when he goes to Burger King and he's like, oh, this is what humans eat. They stick it into their hole in their face. Oh my God, I'm gonna finally do it. I'm gonna blend it and I'm gonna eat this cheeseburger. And then he eats it and he goes, oh, that's not very tasty. Or he eats it and goes, oh, that's so good. Oh my God, I'm eating human food like a human. Too many men treat approaching women in the same way. Here's what I mean. I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and he was telling me about how he recently went to Las Vegas with a few of his buddies, and they were going out, they're all single, they wanted to talk to women, they wanted to meet women, and they just wanted to live it up for their time in Sin City. And he said his friend ended up in conversation with a girl, and he said basically this girl had some friends with her, and because he's working on his ability to meet women, approach women, attract women, talk to women, he's thinking, okay, what should I say? I wanna go up, how am I gonna approach? What angle am I gonna approach a girl from? What am I gonna say when I go up and talk to her? He finally went up and talked to her, and it kind of went okay, but it was a very forgettable moment for him.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah!
Nothing came from the conversation. He didn't get her phone number. He didn't end up hooking up with her, but he did the approach thing. And this is the exact problem. And this is the idea I want to convey to you today. If you think about approaching women as I'm going out and I'm doing the approach thing and I'm going to do 10 approaches tonight. Oh my God, 10 approaches. Then you're thinking about it too much, because what you need to realize is that until you can approach a girl, you're not even in the game. Meeting the girl is just the first step, because once you meet her, what are you going to say to her? How are you going to get her attracted to you? How are you gonna make this conversation seem like a romantic conversation where I wanna see if there's any sexual chemistry between us, and not a friend zone conversation where it's very platonic, it's very boring, and it's very forgettable? Because there's all these things that go into what happens after you meet her that you don't realize, that when you build up approaching to be such a big event for you, then you're not even in the game. And I don't know about you, but I don't wanna sit on the sidelines my whole life. I don't wanna sit and watch other people taking their shots in the game, wishing that I could be shooting my own shot. So take that same mentality to your own dating life. I'll give you a perfect example of when I had this light bulb epiphany moment for myself. I was hanging out with a buddy who has a mansion and a Porsche in Las Vegas, and we were hanging out for the day, going to the gym before we were gonna go out and approach women ourselves, right? This is like when I was relatively younger. I was in my early 20s. I didn't have a lot of money, and you know, I don't have a Porsche. And so I was thinking to myself, holy crap, this is a nice ass car. And he's picking me up in his nice Porsche, and we're gonna go to the gym looking like we're riding in style. And I was like freaking out the whole time. I was like, oh my God, you get to drive this thing every day. And I remember we got to the gym, and I will never forget what this guy said to me. He goes, dude, you're overthinking this. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, this Porsche is just a means to get me from point A to point B. And at the end of the day, there's probably better cars out there that can do that, because you're 6'3", and when you sit in this car, it's hard for you to get out of, right? I was like, yeah, you're right. He goes, so at the end of the day, all this Porsche is to you is just a tiny car that's hard to get into and out of. And I was like, God damn, you're so right.
Like, this motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
And so when I think about that same mentality towards approaching, then the act of approaching a woman is simply not approaching, but it's starting a conversation with a girl that I find attractive to see if there's any chemistry there. But because we talk about approaching so much and we call it this one word, approaching, it's like, yeah, it's easy for you to build it up to be such a daunting task that you feel accomplished when you do it in the first place. But at the end of the day, I want you to realize that if you can't approach a girl, then you're not even in the game. And so you should be thinking of approaching not as like, I'm going out to do the approach thing. Think of it as, how many girls do I want to talk to today to maximize my chances of actually landing one of them? Think about it like taking your shots. If I'm practicing at the gym and I'm shooting shots and I'm working on my free throws and I'm working on my 3-point shot, if I only did 3 reps a week or 3 reps a night, right? How fast do you think I'm gonna get good at shooting free throws? No, I wanna take 10 shots a day. I wanna take 50 shots a day. If I'm really serious about it, if you start shifting your mindset towards approaching women more towards this, you're gonna start seeing women in your everyday, day-to-day life as you're going to Starbucks to get some coffee, as you're going to the gym, as you're going to the grocery store, as you're going to Las Vegas with some friends, as you're going to a bar just to get a few drinks for happy hour. You're gonna start viewing all these as different opportunities to put yourself in the game and start shooting your shot, rather than I'm going out, I'm doing the approaching thing, I'm gonna do 3 approaches tonight, I'm gonna feel accomplished just because I did 3 approaches, because ain't nobody gonna get good at anything doing something just 3 times. So if you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, Patrick, what do I actually say when I go up and approach a girl?
This is what I need to say to you. You look so beautiful. I want to have sex with you. Alright?
Like, I understand what you're trying to get across and I understand the point that you're trying to make, but I don't quite know how to get started. Do not overthink what you say. In fact, I'm going to encourage you to say the first thing that pops into your mind the moment that you lock eyes with this girl. I'll give you an example. If you are sitting at a bar and you see a girl 30 feet away and you're sitting down, for you to get up and approach a girl, you're gonna have to first stand up, get off your ass, and start walking over towards her. Too many guys won't even take that first step towards her because they're gonna overthink, well, what's the first thing I'm gonna say? And if she's sitting next to a guy, well, that's her boyfriend, so maybe I shouldn't go over and approach her, or maybe she looks busy, I don't wanna bother her. Stop thinking of yourself as an interruption to her life. Rather, view it as she could potentially really have a crush on you, or maybe you are exactly her type and you approaching her is giving her exactly what she wants in this moment. Don't overthink any of those situations. In fact, just get up and take that first step. Now, here's the next thing. That's a 30-foot walk. And so in that 30 feet of you walking 30 feet towards her, you're gonna be very tempted to start thinking, what's the first thing I'm gonna say? What's the perfect way I'm gonna approach her? What's the angle I'm gonna approach her for? Stop it. Do one thing, and that is keep your head clear the entire 30 feet walk over there. I know it's gonna be hard, but I want you to intentionally say, I'm going to, on purpose, choose to not go in with a plan of what to say. Because here's the thing, you have a mind, and your mind, whether you realize it or not, is always thinking thoughts. And the problem with men today, one of the many problems, is that they think that their thoughts are not good enough to be verbalized. And so just like I want you to decrease the time between you see a hot girl and you actually walk up to her and start the conversation, I want you to decrease the time between you having a thought and you verbalizing that shit. Because if here's your mouth and here's your brain that's thinking all these thoughts, somewhere in between that mouth and that brain is a filter where a lot of guys, they get hung up with and they start stuttering and they start overthinking every single word that comes out of their mouth.
If we fall for, you know, a bunch of...
And that's kind of like you trying to write a masterpiece of a book. You just gotta type and then filter out from there. When you walk up to her, you get her attention. I don't care how you fucking get her attention, but the moment that she turns towards you and locks eyes with you, some thought's going to come into your head, and I want you to say that thought out loud.
Time for you and me to be kazoo partners.
I don't care if it's, holy shit, this girl has a butterface. Holy shit, this girl's beautiful. Or holy shit, I have no clue what to say. Whatever it is, I want you to verbalize it just as an experiment. Because one of the things that a lot of guys fear is, well, if I say the wrong thing, or if I don't approach her in the right way, or if I'm like interrupting her, then she's gonna think I'm pushy or that I'm creepy.
It's like girls are a different species or something.
Oh, who needs them?
And this fear is what causes that filter to be working overtime to where you start stuttering over your words.
You want him to do you so much you could do anything?
What I want you to understand is that the more in alignment you can be with your thoughts, words, and actions, AKA you see a girl that you find is hot, so you approach her, there's your action, and your thoughts and words are aligned because the first thought that comes into your head, you're verbalizing it. Now you're authentic. Now you're congruent. Your entire vibe is congruent. And the only thing that any girls perceive as creepy is when you're portraying yourself to be one way, but she can clearly tell that you're feeling another way. Like if you go up and you think of like the perfect first line to say, but you're nervous as fuck when you say it, she's going to sense that. Your thoughts, words, and actions are no longer in line, and it's gonna creep her the fuck out. The weird way to overcome this is to just be more in alignment with your thoughts, words, and actions. So if you are genuinely shaking in your boots and you are nervous as fuck, say, I'm shaking right now. I'm nervous. I don't normally do this, but I had to come over and say hi or I would have regretted it. And if you genuinely feel that way and you verbalize it right then and there, it's going to make her see that this man is being authentic, he's being bold, he's taking action, and honestly, those are all very attractive traits. So my only challenge to you is to stop overthinking the approaching thing and start viewing it as you putting yourself in the game and actually shooting your shot, because the only thing that matters is what happens after the moment that you meet her. And then the moment that you meet her, stop overthinking what you're gonna say and just verbalize the first thing that comes to your head and try to challenge yourself to not go into it with a plan of what to say. If you do this one thing alone, I promise you, over the next 30 days, you're not only gonna meet more women than you've probably met in the last year, but you're going to start attracting more women, landing more dates, and at the end of the day, living a more fulfilling and abundant dating life for you. I want you to check out this video right here. It's gonna walk you through exactly what those 3 steps are for you. So check out that video and I'll see you over there.